Hey pod fam, welcome back to another episode of Am I Too Loud, the podcast with Sophie A. I don't know why I'm doing that, honestly. AKA the mother freaking Odditty. Happy International Women's History Month. Welcome to Am I Too Loud, the podcast. Is it International Women's History Month? I guess. Wait a minute. Actually, I know it's International Women's Day, but I'm not sure if it's International Women's History Month, except it probably is Women's History Month across the world, so it would be Women's History Month. Anyways, the point is, it's Women's History Month, and imagine me not doing a dedicated video to women all across the world. Am I a joker? Where do we start from? God, I have a lot of saliva. You know what's crazy? I found out I have a lot of saliva. I'm drinking some liquid IV with some water and ice. I wonder where you guys watch from. I didn't realize how many people watch me on Apple Podcasts or listen to me on Apple Podcasts. For the most part, I usually just thought people watched me on Spotify or YouTube, but Apple Podcasts has been doing their big one, which is crazy because I don't do anything Apple. I don't do Apple Music. I don't do podcasts. I don't really use any of the in-app Apple products. I usually just use Spotify. So anyways, that is my ADHD talking. Where do we start from? First of all, God is a woman. What is that song? God is a woman. Shit. God damn it. God is a woman. God is a woman. God is a woman. God is a woman. Shit. I'm gonna try to write. What's the melody? God is a woman. God is a woman. I can't remember. What is it? Let me find it. Because I wanted to sing the whole thing as an intro for you guys. And I'm not going to not sing it. How dare I not sing it? And God is a woman. Can you see the top of my head when I bend down? Ooh. When all is said and done, you believe God is a woman. Oh, you love me after midnight. You admit I could turn my one. When all is said and done, you believe God is a woman. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can you tell I'm in a good mood? Anyways, guys, God is a freaking woman. Where am I trying to get this episode to? So first of all, let's do some pop culture updates because I've been seeing a lot of discourse around Teyana Taylor at the Oscars. Okay, before we get into that, how do you pronounce the Oscars? Because a part of me wants to say Oscars, another part of me wants to say Oscars, another part of me wants to say Oscars. Okay, I feel like the second one was the better one. Oscars. The Oscars. Shit, man. Having an accent, isn't it? It's a bit of a tight situation, isn't it? But anyways, I watched the Oscars. I watched the Oscars last night. I feel like my mouth has a lot of liquid today. I don't know what it is. Sorry guys, if that's disgusting, I'm so sorry. I get a lot wet. Can I just say, this is so authentically me. I feel like myself in this video so much today that I hope you guys can tell. I don't know if you can tell how comfortable I am right now, just yapping with you guys. I'm not filling my head with being super, super like quick and easy, get you the information. I just want to like yap, and that was the whole point of me creating this space. So I hope you can tell that. First of all, this entire intro is just Sophie being Sophie. Welcome back, baby. I feel like I'm finding myself. I feel like I can see it. I can feel it. Let me not get emotional, because when I tell you going broke, that video is gonna come out on Sunday. I did a whole like unfiltered, unedited podcast. I did a whole unfiltered video for my YouTube channel, my diaries, where I talk about this. But I finally just said it, and I think I said in my last episode too that I haven't gotten a brand deal in a long time, and I am just so frantic. I just feel like I've been spending so much time kissing ass and trying to figure out how to be successful that I lost the version of myself who realized that to be successful is to be myself. You know what I mean? Like, I keep trying to fit into a box and fit into a mold when I am the mold itself. You know what you mean? You know what I mean is crazy. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. My mouth is getting so wet right now. Mind you, let me shut up. Let me shut up. So yeah, welcome back to Am I Too Loud, the podcast. Oh my God. Okay. All right. If you're listening to this episode, then you know I have ADHD. If you listen to anything I post online, you know I have ADHD. So my brain goes 50 miles a minute. But who just remembered that she was talking about the Oscars? I'm not high or drunk. I am absolutely sober right now. My mouth is still wet. What is it? I don't know why it's so wet. Maybe it's like, hold on. I want to see if it's different if I don't have my earphones on. Oh my God. Does my mouth not get wet if you're watching this on YouTube, then you can see what I'm doing. But if you're not watching this on YouTube and you're listening to me on audio, I just took off my headphones. And just to be clear, I feel like my mouth isn't wet anymore because I took off my headphones. Why? What is that phenomenon? What is that? What does that even mean? What does that say? What does that say about anything? What? No, I don't. I don't actually feel the amount of wetness that was there before. Anyways, okay, let's keep going. The Oscars was last night. Teyana Taylor took home an Oscar. I can't. Can I say, what is it? The Academy Awards. We're gonna do the Academy Awards because Oscars, pronouncing that is flipping my tongue. It's stressing me out. But the Academy Awards. That sounds so sexy. The Academy Awards. The Academy Awards were last night, and let me do my radio presenter voice. The Academy Awards was last night, and Sinners took home the prize for Best Original Screenplay, with director Ryan Coogler taking home the win, and Michael B. Jordan, the hot star sensation Black Man Magic, taking home Leading Actor of the Year. We were all so incredibly surprised to find out that the Oscars isn't truly white because they gave them what they deserved. Now, should they have given Wumi an Oscar? Abso-fucking-lutely. Was Delroy Lindo robbed of an Oscar? Yes, he was. However, we're going to give it to the Academy Awards. They gave us four, because they also won Cinematographer of the Year, I think, as well. So, girl, please go and watch E! News or Entertainment Tonight or something if you want to get the actual nominations. I don't know. I just read and I go, and you're even lucky. Sorry. You didn't do anything wrong. You did. Why am I yelling at you? I don't know. Anyways, so they won. It was really good. But here is what I want to talk about. And I promise you, if you follow me, it's going to segue into why I say God is a woman and why this is a women's celebration episode. Because Teyana freaking Taylor, we're going to play the clip here.
Tonight for casting, actor in a supporting role, adapted screenplay, film editing, directing, and best picture.
Amy Madigan.
She was celebrating winning the Oscar with her team. She did the Battle Against Tomorrow, the one after tomorrow, a movie. I haven't watched it yet. I heard good things and bad things about the movie, by the way, but either or, she got the Oscar. So she was very excited, and she's visibly excited, and she's running on stage. She's cheering people on. When she was nominated and she didn't win, she still cheered for the person who won. She was basically acting excited. She was in what people might call, am I too loud mood or mode. She was being a bit what people would call too much, too extra, too loud. And you know what I say to that? She wasn't loud enough, okay? I love that she showed emotion. I feel like in situations like that, we as Black people tend to do this thing called respectability politics, where we don't want to show our emotions. We don't want to show how happy we are, how excited we are, how brave we are. And I honestly think it stems from this idea that we might lose the things that we're super excited to get, or maybe we are scared of failure or shame. I don't know what it is. It could be a lot of those things, or maybe one of those things. Either way, the Black community is so oftentimes, honestly, the immigrant community, POCs, we tend to be so policed to behave a certain way to fit into Western culture. And it frustrates the fudge out of me, because that woman was so gorgeous, so stunning, living her best life, happy. She's a fucking Oscar nominee and winner. She won an Academy Award with her team. They went through hell and back. They filmed a movie. You're telling me she's supposed to sit pretty and just clap her hands because everybody else is doing that? No. If she wanted to get up on that stage and do a backflip, she should have done that. Okay? Because it's personality. It's fun. People don't want to have fun anymore. Like, and I blame myself for that too. Like, I calm down, Sophie. My bad, guys. I was getting a bit passionate over there. Let me explain what I mean by that. I remember when I first started content, and when I watch my videos back, I am so embarrassed for the girl I was. I mean, my makeup used to look horrible. Don't lie to me. I've seen the videos. My makeup used to look horrible. I used to look rough. I sometimes would not brush my teeth. I just came online and I just existed, and I did not think twice about existing in that way because I was just genuinely so happy to be experiencing life. And along the way, I lost that version of myself because I kept thinking and looking around me that everybody does not look like me. And the fact that I'm Sophie, aka the motherfucking Oddity, whose entire premise in life is to be an oddity, I still struggle because I looked around and I was like, oh shit, my peers are, very demure. They don't yell. When they come online, they make sure they put together quality of their content is perfect. Everything is a luxury. Everything is this, everything is that. You better be doing exactly what they're doing because you're embarrassing yourself. I genuinely started thinking that. And I lost myself so much because I was I don't even know who the fuck I was trying to appease. Who the fudge was I trying to look at and say, I need to be like them? Because I did not. She does not need to be like anybody else but Teyana Taylor. You do not need to be like anybody else but yourself. If you're the kind of person who genuinely your excitement level is sitting simple and going a little clap here and there, a little cha-cha, a little 1 2 1 2, that's fine. That's you. Do it. If you're someone like me, let me win my first Oscar. First of all, I'm going to be wearing a green dress. I'm just telling you right now, I'll be wearing a green dress. I'm going to look stunning. Oh, honestly, bald, head will be moisturized to the gods. I might have henna tattoo on. I can see it right now. I'm going to win for a movie where like I play like a really dark, sinister person, but like I'm able to like champion that emotion, and I just killed it, and I just told the story so perfectly, and I win, and I'm one of the first 7 Black women to add them to the list of winning Oscars. You get the point. That's why I'm like, it's in a few years. Don't play it. Maybe a few decades. It's okay. I'll wait. I'm patient. Anyways, the point is, let me win my first Oscar and you guys tell me I should not jump. Oh, excuse you. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I be excited? We need to bring joy back, bring embarrassment back, bring shame back, especially with the age of AI. The only thing that separates you from artificial intelligence is perfection. Literally, because AI was built on the perfect answer, the right thing to do. Every AI platform thingy you see, all these influencers are AI. You're always like, oh my God, is this person AI? People think Olandra is AI. She looked delicious, by the way. People think Olandra is AI because she's so perfect looking. Like, she looks like a fucking doll. So the one thing that separates you and me from artificial intelligence and taking our jobs is to have personality. Now, watch me best believe when I see Teyana Taylor's video, I'm excited because I'm like, oh, that can't be AI. That kind of emotion, you can't get it from anywhere else. I'm yelling at you. I know. Am I too loud? No? Yes? I don't care. Anyway, so I think when I watched that video, I was so excited for her. And then I started seeing the comments and I was like, who are all these people yelling at this woman for literally just being excited? Like, ridiculous. And now let's talk about the fact that this is exactly what a lot of women face. Like, I'm telling you, if that was Kevin Hart, are you telling me if Kevin Hart won an Academy Award, are you telling me that man is not going to jump and make jokes and laugh and giggle? People are not going to say, oh, he needs to act right. Someone also said, oh, it's the situation of right place and how to behave. I'm like, they're all sitting in a theater. Yes, they're wearing dressing and evening gowns, but they're sitting in a theater. It's personally like a movie theater in an award season. Yes, they're dressed in whatever, but these are people who have worked so hard to get to this position in their lives. Like, forgive them for wanting to have joy, have emotion, cry, laugh, dance, jump. Like, bring joy back, baby. Bring joy back. anyways, I hated the fact that like I was seeing people like trying to tear her down, and I love what she said. I'm gonna put it here. Her response to that made me so happy because yes, queen, yes. And it just reminds me a lot about how women's bodies are so policed, women's reactions are so policed, women's abilities to just express emotions are so policed. Like if you're a girl at the club, the perfect example of this is I saw a clip from Madame Joyce's podcast with Patricia Bright, and in that video Joyce is talking about when they go out to the club that Patricia is a dancer, like, and I love Patricia Bright down. I've met her a few times. She's like dancing. She's like the girl who's like at the club having the time of her life. And Joyce is over there talking about, she's, what did she say? Like the ballers, you don't need to be noisy. You have to sit polite. You have to sit pretty. You have to, no, get up and dance. Why are we not dancing in the club anymore? Why are we acting like we don't want to move? Imagine me putting makeup on, putting a hot dress on, looking sexy, and going out to sit down because the men would want me to sit pretty. When Awilo Lukumba is playing in the background, when I should be twerking. And I don't even want to twerk so your guy is catching my one. I want me and my girls, we want to turn up. We want to party. We want to have fun. We want to live life because that's what life is supposed to be. We're supposed to be having fun. Oh, just dance. What is that? Oh, yeah, get up here. Let's dance. I want people to do that more often. Anyways, I'm in my just dance era. I'm in my I want to live it up era. I'm in my happy girl era. I'm in my joyful era. I'm in my loud era. Like all the eras you can think of, I'm in it right now. I just really think it's crazy that my mouth is not as watery because I took my earphones off. What does that say? Is it that like the noise passes through my head and like locks the moisture in my mouth? I don't know if this is TMI. I'm sorry. Very strange. Anyways, so women get policed so much, and so we're gonna talk a lot. I didn't have a big sister growing up, and I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it affected me, but it did. I'm gonna do a TikTok about it, but I wish I had a big sister. There's so many things that I feel like I would have learned from my big sister that I had to learn on the fly, and I had to find friends who were older than me who became my big sister. Because guys, being a woman is so special. It's hard. It's so hard. Like we are, first of all, being a woman is hard. Being a black woman is harder. Being a dark-skinned black woman is harder. Is layers to this shit, man. You are constantly fighting so many battles, but you fucking survive and you look hot doing it. Like God is a woman. And also, let's first start with that. Do we know that God is a woman? Because man, imagine, hey, do we really, really think a man created this? Do we really think so? Like, I can't believe it. I can't believe a man. And of course, I don't think God is a man per se. I don't think God would be a man in that sense. But I just think, like, I see the world, I see the earth as effeminate. That's the word I want to use, like effeminate, very motherly, very nurturing, very growth oriented. Because I feel like that's where being a woman comes in many ways. God. Anyways, so we're talking a lot about being a woman and how much I love being a woman because it's great, it's amazing. And this is not going to be an episode where I'm like, oh yeah, boo men. No, because I've never been the kind of person who always spoke about, fudge men. No, we're not doing any of that here. I think it's going to be more focused on what my perception of being a woman is at this age. I'm 28. I'm 28. Honestly, I was about to start crying because I'm 30 and I'm like, oh my God, I'm aging, I'm growing. But can I be honest with you guys and say that every time I react to people saying, oh my God, I'm going to be turning 30, I only react that way because social media reacts that way. I really don't give a fudge. Like, I've never been the kind of person who was like, oh my God, 30 is like where my life ends, or 40 is where my life ends. I've never been that kind of person. Of course, I'm nervous about aging, but not from the perspective of a beauty standard or how I'm going to look. But I feel like I'm nervous about aging from the perspective of not achieving my dreams quick enough. And I say quick enough because I want to be in this mindset of achieve your dreams. So, because by the time I'm like 50, I don't want to work anymore. Like, I want to like retire early enough where like I have enough money, I'm on an island somewhere and my family's great, I'm happy, I'm content. Like I don't imagine my life, life going through the idea of suffering, of pursuing something that I don't need to be pursuing. That I think is where my head is at. I don't generally think of your 30s as the end of the world, because I don't believe that. I mean, most of the women I know who are in their 30s are fantastic. They're living their best life. Honestly, if we think about it, your 20s to your 30s, you don't even know what the fudge you're doing. Like, you don't know what you're doing. Let's be clear. 20 to 30, if someone who was 30 told me at 21, 22, like, oh my God, don't worry about it, it gets better, I definitely didn't believe them, because in my head, I'm like, I'm hot shit. I know what's going on with me. I know what I like, what I don't like. Now, when I think about it, yeah. No, I did not know what I was doing. 21-year-old Sophie, shoot. I mean, this is how I think it is. So I graduated from college, I think, when I was 21 years old. So maybe from 18 to 21, you're still in that, maybe education. Now, I also want to put the caveat of Gen Z now, they be aging pretty quickly. So I don't want to bring that up from that perspective. So let's first start with that. However, the life that I grew up in, I'm still Gen Z, but I'm like at the cusp. I'm 97. 18 to 21, you are, figuring yourself out. You just finally are either living college, or you're sort of like figuring out how to get away from family, get a job, be sustainable. 21 to 25, you're like finally living life. Like there's no structure in your life anymore, especially if you're not in school. So you're getting your first job, you're making new friends. If you've moved to cities, you're like trying to get friends in the city. You're becoming someone who you could depend on. You're becoming someone who is figuring out what adulthood looks like. 25 to 28 or 29, I think, is the stage where you're probably shedding away your early 20s, and you're not focusing on building. I think that's what I think about it. Like, I'm building now, I'm growing, I'm learning. And then 30, I can't wait to find out. Like, I can't wait. I see people say that your 30s is when like you're reborn and you're excited, you're living life, you're happier. And I can feel it, because my frontal lobe, I definitely remember like my 25th, 26th birthday. So much happened during that time for me. Oh my God. It felt like I was genuinely getting reborn in a way that I just did not expect. And I love that era of my life so much, but I'm just really even more excited for this era of my life. So for a lot of times with women, I think we tend to chase youth in a way that men don't. And I want to like debunk that, because you're going to be sexy at 50. You're going to be sexy at 70. You're going to be sexy at 80. You are in charge of your life. No one can tell you 30 is a new 50. Like, please, there are 30-year-olds who are killing it, and people who are successful now are all people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, because they are just living life for them. I feel like your life sort of changes when you start living it for yourself, and I'm in that era too. Let me drink some water. Okay, now let's get into the episode, because I feel like I wanted to write this episode, and I say write because I made sure I had notes for this episode. I wanted to write this episode because a lot of young women follow me, a lot of older women follow me, and a lot of the time when I speak to women, I speak for women, I speak in support of women, I support women's rights and wrongs. I love women. I do. I love women. And I admire women so much for being who they are, for being so special. I admire the many facets of who we are, and it fuels me with such happiness every time when I think about being a woman. And I would never take that for granted. I also never want to be anyone else or anything else. I would always come back being a woman. I would love to always come back being a woman. I also can't imagine like having like a penis in between my legs the whole time. I'll be too overstimulated. Like, no, thank you. It just feels like it's too many things I'm carrying. Like, titties are enough. Like, I'm so glad I have like tiny boobs, because imagine having big ass boobs on my chest. I would be so irritated half the time. Like, get out of my face. Like, I have friends who have to pick their boobs up and push it to the side to rest. Oh, shoo. No, can't be me. Anyways, this episode is going to be for the women who are tired of shrinking, of apologizing, over explaining, who are tired of just constantly proving their worth in this world. It's definitely not a gender war episode. It's like a women's appreciation, women's reality check sort of episode. As someone who loves women, I just really love talking about us. So this is to the girl who's tired, to the girl who's trying, to the girls who are becoming. Specifically, this is to the girls who are becoming. Being a woman is so special, but it's really hard. It's really hard to exist in a world that's constantly trying to get you to honestly play the same game or play at some game. It's hard when you think about hormones, about growth, about being a girl child, about it's too much. I was telling my friend the other day, we were having a conversation and I was talking about how I'd been sleeping so much. She was like, oh, when is your period? And I was like, oh my God, that is so true. I sleep really, really bad before my period, like the week before my period. I'm a zombie. I can't get any work done. My hormones are all over the place. I'm exhausted. I'm delirious. I'm tired. And I was like, imagine this, bro. Like, this is, I was born like this. Like, I can't control that. Every month, the universe says, oh, you're a woman. You got to bleed. You got to do this. You got to do. Hey, we go through a lot, too. But I love it. I love it because I think at the end of the day, like, women are just, we are phenomenal. We are so special. We are important. And I want more women to speak life into other women. And I want womanhood to encapsulate every single facet of what being a woman is. And what I mean by that is, I think gone are the days where a woman has to be a certain way. So you, as a woman, you're told, or society tells you, you grow up, you finish school, maybe you even not attend school in some parts of the world, you get married, you give birth, you sometimes have a job, sometimes you don't, you become a mother, you raise your children, the children go off, they take care of you in your old age, you die. There's a version of womanhood that people still ascribe to. And then I think in modern history now and in like this century, womanhood just encapsulates every single facet now of just life in general. You have women who are career pioneers. You have women who are presidents, who are governors, who are like billionaires. You have women who are dreamers and doers and thinkers. And the fact that this is such a recent development in recent years tells me there's so much more potential for women as a whole. And I'm so excited for like young girls being born to be able to experience a life where they literally could become anything they want to be. Like, wherever a child is born today that's a girl could potentially be the United States president in 30 years, 40 years, maybe. Like, that's a possibility. I say that because I'm like, I don't know if America is ready for a woman president. Like, in the next 2 elections, but maybe 4, 5 elections, maybe not, maybe 10. A girl could dream, but I don't know, patriarchy is still a huge part of the world and we still struggle. But ideally, like, it's really important to see the different facets of what womanhood has become. And I love it. And I'm talking to you as a woman who has gone against the grain her entire life. Like, yeah, I went to school and I finished my degree and I have a master's, but I was supposed, like, I'm 28, and if you'd asked my mother what she wanted for me, it was definitely to have gotten married around 22, 23. But I didn't do that. I didn't do any of that. And I had the choice. And the fact that we live in a world now where women have the choice to do whatever the fudge they want, it fills me with so much happiness because we fucking deserve it. We deserve to dream so big, and it shouldn't only be boys alone who can dream this way. Like, young girls can too. And I think that's the best thing you could ever do. Okay, I think my rant is over now, and we're going to talk about why I say God is a woman, because God is a woman. Okay. Number 1. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Women are genuinely the most divine beings you would ever meet. Like, we create life, we create safety, we create beauty, we create language around feelings and emotions. We are so sacred, like our intuition, our discernment. We talk about female energy, feminine energy, and we talk about how important that is, because genuinely there's no life without a woman. There's no life without womanhood. There's no, like, you would not exist without a coochie. You know that, right? You would not exist without a cooch. That alone should tell you all you need to know. And I think that's crazy to me, that we know consciously that a woman, the world exists because of women. We birth life. And okay, let's argue that, yeah, you need the semen to like pump in there. But like, honestly, you're right. Hold on. I guess, but like, we could find the semen anywhere, you know? It could be, you don't know. Like, yeah. It's like, you can't cook a chicken in the oven without the chicken, but the oven still exists. That's so stupid. That was so stupid. I know. The point I'm still trying to make though is like, life exists because of women, and I think that's why we're so special. And I think one of the biggest lies that you're told is that power comes from masculine energy. And I think I've done an episode on masculine energy and feminine energy in season 1. Oh my god, we're in season 3 right now. I think I've done an episode on season 1 versus season 3. I think I've done an episode on masculine versus feminine energy, and I always talk about this from the perspective of, when you hear or think of power, you often think about it from this masculine perspective, right? Of loud and strong, and also fuck ADHD. But as I was saying, have you guys heard of this thing called LooksMaxxing? Like LooksMaxxing, or what is it? Like this idea that men have started being so invested in like their physical appearance, like wanting to be at the gym regularly, wanting to like chisel their jaw and get Botox and everything so they can look their best. I'm just gonna say to that, because I promised I was not gonna bring men into this conversation. I just want to point out that it seems like a very feminine thing to do. So as you're listening to this episode, I hope you know that being a woman is still the best thing you can do, because we've been LooksMaxxing before it became cool for the men. Thank you very much for coming to my TED Talk. Anyways, as I was saying, you hear this a lot when you talk about how, you know, masculine energy is where power lies. But I just think there is such a subtle beauty in femininity. And it's not even in the softness, but when we think about matriarchs and powerful women, you know, you guys have, you know, those women, right? Like, right now I'm picturing Viola Davis and Woman King. Excuse me. That sort of like quiet, silent power where you're dominating a room without needing to yell, to shout, to scream, because of your intellect, because of your intelligence, because of who you are, what you're perceived as. Men, women, children, everyone can bow down to you, could feel that power. Feminine power is that. No one else in this world can encapsulate power in that way except for women. And when you harness that power within you, I swear to you, your life would never be the same. I think the biggest mistake a lot of women make, I'm bringing the men into this, is feeding into the patriarchal system we have, where we think that to be a strong woman, you need to be at the side of a man, when true womanhood and feminism in a way is the choice of being able to explore who you are. Like, generally the choice to explore who you are. Because let me tell you, the thing that separates a lot of women from men in this sense is choice. Do we know that? Like, truly at the core of life, you lose your power when you give the power of choice to someone else to choose for you. Does that make sense? And so many women do that. You let your choice go. You give up that power to other people. And I don't even say this as something we do intentionally, right? Like, think about it from even our body autonomy around abortions, around, I think abortion is mostly it, honestly, like how the states has control over that, or around like marriage and virginity and sex and all these things where as women, our choices are taken away from us. But mind you, all of us are born the same. Like, the fact that like you are making choices for me and you are not even me, crazy. Like, I think about female genital mutilation, FGM, and how the choice of desire is taken away from young women because some society looks to you and says you don't deserve desire. Like, that's why I would always go back to the fact that God has to be a woman, because we are so powerful. And I hope you listen to this episode and you can feel how much I love being a woman, and how much you can feel how much I love being a woman and how empowered I am every day to be a woman. And my goal with my podcast, Am I Too Loud, is to pour into women. to break the mold, to set the standard for themselves, to show themselves that they are absolutely equipped to do any fucking thing they want in life. You can do and be anything you want as a woman. Fuck what society says. Fuck what family says. Fuck everything else. Because everybody else has choice. Everybody else has choice. When we start fighting for our rights to choose, that's when true empowerment comes in. And that's why I will never stop fighting for choice for every woman, young, old, black, white, Asian, all of it, all of us, we deserve the right to choose. And for me, that's the epitome of feminine energy. And that's why so many people are scared of it. That's why when I hear people talk about my podcast and how much they love listening to it, I know I'm radicalizing people in the best way, because you cannot tell me that the things I'm saying to you shouldn't be the norm. What do you mean you should choose whatever happens to you in your body? Shouldn't that be common sense? Everybody else gets to choose. And by everybody else, I mean the other gender. So why don't you? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's exactly why I talk about being a woman. But I also don't want to romanticize womanhood. I feel like I don't think I'm even romanticizing womanhood, because as a young girl, I had my mom, who like for me was like the most powerful woman in the entire world. Like, she was a single mom. She did everything. But I will not lie that growing up within the community that I grew up in, it still always felt like in some way our culture put women as second-class citizens. And I know there's some women in the world out there who still believe women should be second-class citizens. And to those people, I say, shame. I say, shame. Shame on you. Because why? Why are we second-class citizens? Why? Because of a dick? Oh, please. Have you even seen a cooch? Much prettier. Much prettier. I don't understand this concept. We are... Sorry, guys. I know I keep going back to this cooch. This is like the third time I brought up a cooch. But I'm talking about womanhood on this episode. Why would I not bring up a cooch? Anyways, the point is, being a woman is growing up and you're told you're too loud, you're too emotional, you're too ambitious, you're too sexual, you're too much of a prude, you're too needy, you're too independent, you're too much, you're too hard to love, you're too difficult to control. And they say all this about you. And so many of us spend so many years trying to sort of become the kind of woman that gets to be chosen, right? Like we grow up wanting to be chosen because that's what society has told us we need to become. I hope you listen to this episode and realize that the beauty is when you choose for yourself, and you always choose yourself. The whole point of self-love and this whole, I remember when COVID happened and the world shut down, and that was when self-love and body positivity became a thing. It genuinely was because a lot of women, and this is something that I did not study, but if I had a PhD in this, I would do my dissertation on the fact that during quarantine, the fact that we didn't have to focus in some way on other people's perception of us shifted us into actually looking at ourselves in the mirror and going, if I simply existed in a silo, in a bubble by myself, would I hate me or would I love me? And if I hated me, why did I hate me? And if I loved me, why did I love me? And that's why I feel like self-love and body positivity became a thing, because a lot of women, when they were left alone and they didn't have to go outside, they didn't have to get to hear opinions of people, they started realizing, holy smokes, I should really be in love with myself. I should learn to have fun by myself, choose myself, do all these things by myself. And then everything got messed up, because the moment the world opened up, we're like, oh, yikes, opinions are back. We're seeing people again. Now people are talking about my weight, my height, my body, whether or not I'm getting married. Because then during COVID, you can't start looking for a husband. Where would you find a husband when you're supposed to be in lockdown? You see what I mean? I'm telling you, we go through so much. We go through so much. And I've been thinking a lot about like who taught me about womanhood. And I'm not going to lie. I said this earlier in the episode that I really wish I had a sister, because the womanhood that I know now, I don't think was taught to me, because I tell you guys all the time, I'm my mom's biggest nightmare. And she did not teach me to be this radical. And I promise you, I'm not even that radical. I simply am very curious. And I just really, really love myself. And I don't know, I would never think of myself as a second-class citizen. But while I was doing research on this episode, I was trying to figure out like who taught me womanhood. I don't want to seem braggy by saying I think I taught myself, but I kind of think I did. Because again, I grew up in a society where womanhood was defined by mostly traditional values, right? And now, because I said earlier in this episode that the beauty of womanhood is in choice. So if you are a woman who genuinely, and I know there are women like this who genuinely love kids, love wanting to be a partner, love being a wife, love all these things, the fact that you can choose that path for yourself, I would always celebrate you. My issue comes when there are women who do not want that path but are forced into that path because to them or to the people around them, that is what is defined as womanhood. Are we getting what I'm dropping here? So in my situation, I was raised in a Black Muslim home, Nigerian Muslim home, at that African Muslim home. Womanhood in that context was get married to a man who would take care of the family, pump out kids, ideally 3 to 4, actually 1 to 9 at some point, and take care of your kids, pray your salat, you go to the grave. That was it. Yes, I went to school. That was it. Now, my brother could be a doctor. He could have how many kids? He could take his time to settle down. But my biological clock was ticking the moment I became of age, and the aunties could start talking in the mosque about where or how I'm supposed to be getting married and so on and so forth. That to me is where my choice is taken away. So I wouldn't even say I read books or I watched, maybe I think it would be movies or TV shows. Because I remember growing up and watching Disney a lot and, you know, seeing Hannah Montana. And I wouldn't say she taught me about womanhood, but I think Western media influenced me thinking, oh, there is more out there for women. Now, it's funny I say that because America didn't start giving women most rights till late 60s, early 2000s. Honestly, I think women just started getting able to, you know, have credit cards in 1964 or something. So it wasn't like the West was always forward thinking. But to me, isn't it interesting that, and I'm getting really nerdy right now, a lot of societies, older cultures, the woman was oftentimes the matriarch, the power horse, the one who led. And if there was a man who was king, it was always very much clear that the woman was still usually the one that she could bring him down, right? We've seen is it Daniel that his Achilles heel was the fact that like a woman took him down because he was blinded by lust, blah, 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 blah. That to me, I think is so interesting how when colonization happened, men flipped that around and now, you know, men became the ones in power when women were the ones in power to begin with. Isn't that strange, my loves? Isn't it strange, pod fam? Isn't it? Because when you look back at our cultures, you would realize that women were the powerful ones at first. They had powerful communities, villages, towns. They ran the world. And then the white man, no. And what did people do about it? Nothing. Typical. That was from New Girl. If you know, you know. If you do not know that, wow, I'm judging you. That was such a random midway segue while yapping about womanhood. Anyways, so I did not necessarily learn womanhood from my mom. I didn't learn it from religion. The womanhood I know, I didn't learn from religion. I didn't learn it from culture. I didn't learn it from the internet, from men, from other women. I think I learned it from trauma. And I hate to be like some of the best women I know. I've had to be radicalized off of trauma, but in many ways, I am the woman I am today because I sought a different life for myself. And when, as a young child, I would say I want to do X, and they'll be like, oh, you can't do X, but other people are doing X. I was very curious as to why, because I couldn't believe that the reason I couldn't do something was because boys do it and girls do it. Now, if you're listening to this and you're so stuck on the idea that girls do one thing, boys do one thing, I think you shouldn't be stuck on that idea. I think that's a ridiculous notion. First of all, there's not only two genders. Oh, gay. Did I throw that in there? Did I throw that in there? Am I going to lose some of you by saying that? Am I? Said what I said. Am I too loud? Nope. Because it's true. Like, guys, yeah. Yo. Like, I wish more people were free. I wish we embraced life in a way where we were more fluid, because structure genuinely breaks people apart. Structure is why we have so much racism and we have bigotry and we have so much more, because someone somewhere thinks they're better than somebody else because they think they know something that they're supposed to know when they really don't. That was a long way of saying stop judging people. Okay? Stop judging people. Back to what I was saying. So I think I learned womanhood by trauma, but also like living and learning for myself. A lot of times most women learn from trauma, and I'm sad that I feel like that's where my perspective on womanhood came from, but it really is. And I don't mean from like sexual trauma, but I mean from trial by fire, right? Being put in situations where I had to question a lot and rely on myself for growth and for freedom. And when I realized that, oh, I could do this by myself, I did not need anybody else, I found growth in that. I found strength in that. And I never want to feel otherwise. I enjoy my strength. I love how powerful I am. I love being a woman. I think it's the best thing. And what happens when, I think I am the result of what happens when the scripts you're told doesn't fit. Because the funny thing about the world is, yes, there are people who fit the perfect script of what womanhood is supposed to be. But there are also a lot more people who don't fit that mold. And when you're not a bigot, when you're not racist, when you're not sexist, you realize people should have the choice to fit into whatever the mold they want to have for themselves, because it's their life and no one else's. So yes, there should be a woman who never wants to have kids. There should be women who love having babies. There should be women who hate working. And there could be women who love working. There should be a woman who likes to fuck. And there should be women who are virgins and really don't want to have sex. You should be able to exist on the different levels of the spectrum of what womanhood is, and that should not take away from you being a woman or not. That, I think, is my central idea. So I think a lot of women are not actually trying to find themselves. I think we're trying to remember ourselves before the world starts to tell us who we are. And that is why I'm so focused on like younger women as they grow up, because young girls, like, have you seen that video where they tell older women to run like girls, and the older women are like, have you guys seen that video? Or it's like an ad where they tell older women to run like girls, and they're like running, their hands are like, limp, they're like running really slow, like actually huffing and puffing. They're running like they can't run, right? Like, okay, track athletes who are women don't exist, don't piss me off. And then they tell young girls, like I think 4 to 12-year-old young girls, to run like girls. And these girls are running, like they're putting all their strength into it. They're not shaking. They're powerful. They're strong. And that ad was such a good reminder of the fact that society ingrains in you what womanhood is as you're growing up. Because you're not born to second guess yourself. You're not born to think of yourself as second class citizens. How many young girls do you know have audacity? Like, you see a 5-year-old girl be like, oh, I'm the smartest in my class and da 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 da. And then they're sharing that, and some guy or some older woman will say, yeah, but your brain doesn't need to work once you get it to your husband's house. Hey, before you know it, this girl realizes, oh, I'm not supposed to have a brain. Let me be quiet. Do you know how many young girls are broken so young because of what society tells them they're supposed to be? Do you know how many? Do you know how frustrating that is? Because we deserve to explore. We deserve to have fun. Young girls deserve to feel the thoroughness of what womanhood is. His is crazy. To feel the thoroughness of what womanhood is, without feeling like they can't do something, because they deserve it. And I hope if you're listening to this, you don't feel like you're too old to change your life and feel like you've given up your choices. I hope if you're young listening to this, I hope you enjoy this and you think about this from the perspective of you really are living your best life and you can do anything you put your mind to. It doesn't matter what. You are not a second class citizen. You are absolutely phenomenal and you can do everything you put your mind to. The world is so scared of women. I think the reason powerful women make people uncomfortable is because a woman who knows herself is really hard to manipulate. A woman who knows her strength is really hard to manipulate. A woman who knows her power is really hard to manipulate. And A woman who trusts her intuition is pretty dangerous. A woman who is not looking for validation from people is really dangerous. A woman who can walk away from something is dangerous. That work that you need to put in to become that version of yourself, that is hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is really hard. But when you do the work, when you stop comparing, when you trust your intuition, when you pour into yourself, when you choose joy, you're sexy, you're powerful, you're strong, you're determined. And yes, it's not easy because we're all constantly fighting factors that can be frustrating for a lot of young girls, for a lot of young women who are growing up. But I think we are equipped. Like, women really are equipped for everything as long as we put our minds to it. I think we really are. And there's oftentimes seasons where being a woman feels heavy because of expectations, heartbreak, comparison, pressure of wanting to do everything I want. But when you exist to please yourself and choose yourself, nothing else matters. I don't know how best to tell you that being a woman is truly special. And you literally break the mold of second guessing who you are, of struggle, when you genuinely love yourself and you have boundaries, when you set them, when you pour into yourself. You are ahead of half of the world at this point, and you're so special because of it. I think a lot of women get lost because they try to figure out what society wants from them, and then they lose themselves in the process, But a woman who really knows her worth, she's truly unstoppable. She really is. So to every woman who's listening, whether you feel powerful right now or not, I want to say a few things. You do not need to be perfect to be sacred. You do not need to be chosen to be worthy. You do not need to shrink to be loved. You do not need to be painless to be feminine. You do not need to be easy to be a woman. And I feel like I want to get to a point where I'm like, okay, there are also different types of women, and I love every single type of woman, by the way. Masc women, feminine women. No, in that way. Sorry, my bad. Let me take that back. Oh, yo, guys. Oh, not me over here daydreaming about women. So I always see this discourse online too, where we talk about, like, you know, women who enjoy the soft life and women who, you know, are this like trad wives, right? And let me tell you something about me. So when I was growing up, my mom, again, I told you guys, like, my mom was the closest person I knew, and what I attributed womanhood to was struggle. My mom wasn't the type of person that took the time to take care of herself. She was taking care of everybody else. She was the first of 20 something kids. So her priority was always everybody else, never her. Like, I don't think she's ever put herself first ever in her life. Right. So when I was growing up, when I saw women who put themselves first, I felt a certain level of, honestly, it wasn't even jealousy. I think it was deeper than that. I felt a lot of envy, because I really felt so jealous of these women who were able to have the time for frivolous activities like spa days, like journaling, like prioritizing themselves, like boundaries, like self-respect. Like all those things, I just was like, who has time for that? Like, you need to be the one who everybody depends on, so you need to be selfless. And no, start channeling your inner white man, because a white man is not selfless. Oh, a white man is selfish. A white man is probably one of the most selfish people you'd ever meet, because they will constantly choose themselves no matter what. I love me a white man. Oh, I don't. I'm sorry. I only said that because I felt like I might clip that part of the video. And I didn't want to get in trouble on TikTok. I really do not. But the point still stands, okay? You need to have the courage and audacity of a mediocre white man, because a lot of women tend to be selfless because they think that's how they need to get ahead, when honestly, you just need to know who the fuck you are and keep going. So I used to be so jealous of soft life girls. Oh, I used to be so jealous. And then I realized there's a beauty in taking the time to invest in your feminine energy, but also taking the time to truly know what you are and what you like, what you dislike, know what your boundaries are, know what you love, what your wants are, in a world where society hasn't dictated that for you already. So as you're growing up, asking yourself questions like, Do I want to get married? Do I want to have kids? Do I want a job? Do I enjoy this job? Do I like vacationing? Do I like solo dates? Do I like drawing? Like taking time to find out who you are for yourself. Most people don't do that. Most women don't do that. Surprisingly, we're so focused on serving everybody else. If you're an older sister, you're focusing on your younger sister. If you're the eldest daughter, you're focusing on the entire family. If you're constantly just everybody else but you. Honestly, I also have a hot take. I don't think feminism is a theory. I think it's about the daily decisions women make. And what I mean by that is, we tend to hear people talk a lot about how like most feminists are angry, or feminists believe in the equality of men and women. But I think true feminism is the fact, or the ability, or the access that women should have to make choices for themselves. That's all it simply is asking for. It's asking for the equity in womanhood and manhood. It's asking for equity in social, political, and economical factors. It's asking for equity in all these things. The movement is oftentimes co-opted as this, oh my God, feminists are so annoying, they're man haters, blah, 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 blah. And all they're asking for is pay us equally if we're both qualified. All it's asking for is treat women equally and not as second-class citizens. Let women have choice over their bodies. Let women also learn to read in school. Let women actually have access to school. Let women have access to education. What do you mean, as a woman, I don't have access to education because I'm a woman? Are you a mad My bad. My bad, y'all. I just thought I was gonna get crazy. Hey, I just love being a woman. Anyways, I feel like that's my way to calm myself down when I start getting into the nitty-gritty. Because I was in a podcast, and that episode is coming out really soon with a friend, my first ever collab podcast. And we got so angry when we started talking about how hard it is for women. And I think we hear it oftentimes when men talk about it now. They're like, oh my God, being a woman is so hard now too. Women talk about it enough. Women don't talk about how hard it is enough. I swear we don't. I don't think enough women talk about how hard it is to be a woman in today's society. And I love that we're getting to that point, because I think about our mother's generation, right? That they were so selfless. They struggled. They chose to toil for their children. They chose to make these dreams come true for themselves. In doing that, we're constantly at war with the patriarchy, with a lack of equality, with so much lack of choice, essentially. And then our generation, that we're becoming so hyper independent because we realize we don't want to be that. I don't want to be my mom's generation. I want to be even better. Like, I want to have choice. And we've heard the stories now about how people are talking about women not wanting to have kids anymore, women wanting to work. I'm like, in a society where, first of all, the economy is getting bad. So there's no way, just if you're even talking about women being second class citizens, how much money can a man make for him to take care of his family without the woman working too? Isn't that crazy? So of course women are going to want to work. And also, even outside of that factor, women also should be working because they might have the desire to. They don't want to sit at home. And even that is, oh my God, that's so terrible. That's so bad. Women should sit at home. No, please. I can't be bothered. So yeah, you can have it all as a woman. You can have it all. You can have everything you put your mind to. If you make the decision for yourself and say you want this, you deserve it and you should have it. Let no one make you feel like you can't have anything you want, because you really can. Okay, so before we get into some Reddit questions, I've been liking this Reddit reaction segments because y'all are not sending me voicemails or messages for me to react to. But I also realized that, like, if I don't tell you guys what the title or the episode for the podcast is, then how would you guys send me dilemmas? So maybe I need to figure that out. Anyways, I'm going to answer some questions that people would be asking or curious about womanhood. First thing is, when do you actually start feeling like a woman and not just a girl pretending? You know that thing when people talk about like girl versus lady versus woman? I've never been the one who knew what the difference was, but I will say, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think being a woman, I think you start from like in your 30s, I guess. And I feel like there's always going to be that your inner girl child never like goes away. You're always going to feel like a girl till the end of time. It is what it is. I feel like my inner girl is always constantly healing. So I never fully am a full woman at some point. Like, I feel like I'm constantly learning and growing, but that inner girl is always going to be there. How do I become my own version of a woman instead of the version everyone expects? I've said this already, hopefully throughout this episode, that you could just have to choose the version of yourself you want to be. And I honestly think people also have like I think, versions of themselves over the time and over eras. Like, you don't have to go with what society says. You really don't. Like, it might be hard. Like, I'm not going to say my life is easy. For someone who's 28, unmarried, no kids, well, technically, I have dogs. But for someone like me, not having kids and all these things, from where I come from, that's a bit radical. But I promise you, I am very happy. And I'm going to my friend's 1-year-old birthday party, and I'm excited to be an auntie because I really love babies. I love kids, but I just don't see it for myself. That to a lot of people is radical. And there are also people who look at me and go, they can't even imagine being in my shoes because they love their husbands. They love having kids. They love that part of their life. And to them, you go, girl. Like, yes, to all of that. It's not for me. But I think that's the beauty in womanhood, especially the one that we're choosing for ourselves, is you should have a say in the kind of life that you want for yourself. Right? Okay, next one. How do you know who you are as a woman when you spend your whole life performing for other people? I think you just have to learn. You just have to take the time to learn about yourself. So many women are stuck in this idea of performance where you have to perform to be who you are. But who are you performing for? And why does it matter? Performing for other people is so disappointing to yourself. And one quote that I constantly live by is, I would always want to keep the promises I make to myself, because that's what self-love is. Make that promise to yourself to find things that you enjoy, that you love, that you want to do, and actually actively do them. It is so hard to unlearn so many things that society tells you, but I swear to you, once you start unlearning it, it's like you open a whole new dimension, and it's so much more special when you do that. I'm telling you. What parts of womanhood do you have to unlearn? Oh, this is such a good question. So many. And again, because I think about womanhood as a choice, I never want to say like, you have to unlearn that you don't need to get married. I think the biggest thing that you have to unlearn as a woman is choice. Like, we tend to forget that we have a choice in our lives as women. We tend to listen to older women, partners, siblings, more than we listen to ourselves and our intuition, because we're not oftentimes raised to trust our instinct or our gut. I mean, as a young child, they're telling you, oh, as a girl, your emotions are all over the place. We're so dramatic. We're so emotional. Men are more stable. Have you met a man who doesn't know what he's doing? Several of them, first of all. But as young women, we're oftentimes taught not to trust our intuition. And again, I told you, a woman who trusts her intuition is so dangerous. So I think that's the biggest thing I would say on learning, is that the choice that you have about your life isn't yours. Because everything you want in life is based off a choice. Like, you choose the life you want to live. That's why I wouldn't want to say, like, because I think a lot of people might talk about like traditional white values or soft life, or, you know, women needing men for money, But again, my own thing is I support women's rights and wrongs, but I also would always want all women to have the choice on the path they want their life to take. And ideally, that choice is based off of not society's pressures or trauma, but more so identifying the things that truly make you happy and just going for them. Let's see. What else? Why does being a confident woman make people treat you like you're arrogant? I think this is interesting because being a confident woman is seen as an outlier, because women are meant to be soft, second-class citizens, quiet, and men who are confident are oftentimes seen as bosses. We've heard that story so many times, and a confident woman is seen as arrogant. I think times are changing now, hopefully, but I think a powerful woman is a threat to society. So of course, society is going to find ways to make her feel terrible for being herself. You just have to not give a flying fudge. Like Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, two of the most qualified women in the entire world to run a country over the person in office right now. But the fact that they were confident made them very arrogant, made men not trust them. Do we see the pattern here? But you have to genuinely not give a fudge. And honestly, the more women who are arrogant in that way, the more it becomes the norm. And I hate it so much when I see the infighting between women where people are talking about like, oh, just be demure. No, fudge that. Like, if you see a woman celebrating her confidence, being bossy, being strong, celebrate that. If you're the kind of woman who likes to be quiet, that's fine too. Allow us have choices in life. You need to have choices for yourself too. So people are always going to talk about a confident woman being arrogant, but that's their problem. It should never be yours. People, the amount of men who hate me, guys, I didn't even realize that. Especially African men, they can't stand me because they're like, oh, who does she think she is? She's talking too much. I think I'm the baddest bitch on the planet. Now what? What's tough? How do I feel feminine when I don't always feel soft and delicate? I don't think femininity has anything to do with soft and delicate. I think that's what society has told us femininity is. I think femininity comes from a deeply rooted sort of energy source, right? And I know that sounds like very much kumbaya, all that woo woo, but generally I look at femininity more as the innate desire to be who you are and like truly being your own I think femininity isn't something that you can define. If anything, I think it's less soft but more desire and choice. That's how I see femininity. I think of femininity as strength. I don't think it's soft or delicate. Like a woman who is sitting in her own femininity is a woman who knows herself, who's self-assured. So I don't necessarily think of that as soft or delicate. I just think being who you are makes sense. If you're soft, then you're soft. If you're tough, you're tough. I just think as long as you know what that urge is and what that desire is, you're sitting in your divine feminine era. We've talked about being in this divine feminine era, which I think is like growth, introspection, intuition, less softness, like flower petals. No. And I've also met some people who love that softness, but who can fight and they're still feminine. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Can I still be a good woman if I'm loud, ambitious, sexual, opinionated, or emotional? There is no such thing as a good woman. Let me just be clear, because good woman and good to who? I don't think there is anything like that. I think you can be who you are and be all those things too. I think a good woman is whoever the fuck she wants to be. Like, I don't think there's no who is telling me I'm good or bad, and to who. I look like an owl now saying who. But really, I don't think there's such a thing as a good woman. I think you simply can be who you want to be. Like, if you decide that you want to be loud or ambitious and sexual, opinionated, or emotional, then be that. And that to me is good. To someone like me, all those things are great things because I am those things. I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad woman. So I think that to who? No one, exactly. Why does being a woman feel like being judged all the time? I think it's because of what society says. Like, I'm telling you guys, being a woman is so powerful that, like, of course people are going to judge you, especially other women, which is something that we should also talk about. Society has put us in a space where we have to compete against each other because of how much power we have when we're together. I hope we understand that. And this is not me just saying this to say it. It really is facts. When women come together, they are so much more stronger. So of course, society is going to want to put us apart. And when I say society, I mean literal society, from our moms to our aunties to everyone. They keep trying to pull us apart because women who are together, like, this is such a stupid example, but I think about it from a man who has 4 wives, right? And who hates to have his wives get along, because when those women get along, he's out of power, because those women, those wives will show that man a hell on earth because they are in sync. I think that's usually the example I can think of when polygamous families, when the wives are fighting against each other and the man is just living his best life. I'm like, of course he's happy. You're all fighting each other when you should be all fighting him. He's the one who made the choice. Make his life hell. Anyways, so women, as a woman, you're always going to be judged, but there's nothing you can do about it. You just keep sort of like living your best life. How do you build confidence when you don't look like the women who are always celebrated? Become a woman who celebrates herself. That's it. Don't compare yourself to other people. And what does that even mean, women who are celebrated? I really do believe that everyone is beautiful. I genuinely do. Beauty standards are a thing for a reason, but there are beauty standards in Brazil, in India, in Nigeria, in South Africa. I do not look like a South African woman. If I go to South Africa now, I don't have a big ass. I am bald, but I don't have a big ass. I'm not going to be the beauty standard. If I go to Peru, I'm not going to be the beauty standard if I go to Argentina. So you're going to constantly fight this idea of what a beauty standard is, unless you're just yourself. And I promise you, to somebody out there, there's 8 billion fucking humans in the world. Someone out there, you're beautiful. Own it. And I don't know if you guys saw that TikTok about the girl who said she's a guy's first baddie. And so many women, especially in the comments, are like, oh, you're ugly. How freaking disgusting. How spiteful. How disappointing that I am confident enough to say I'm someone's first baddie. Didn't say his other girlfriends, did not even mention anybody else. I just said I am someone's first baddie. And that confidence made people want to pull me down. You just have to have the strength of 1,000 elephants to be a woman. And I would constantly fight to get that strength, because no one is going to tell me who I am when I live my own life. I think that's the energy that you should always have as a woman through the world, because they will try to bring you down, but you cannot let them do that. You got to keep going, babe. Okay. Okay, let's see. Why are women taught to be chosen instead of taught how to choose? This, you guys know, if you've watched my podcast, you know how I feel about this. Too many times has there been a situation where, like, you guys, if you watch my podcast, you know how I feel about this question, because I say this all the time. Women are taught to be chosen. Men are taught how to choose. Men are taught how to handle rejection. Women are not taught how to handle rejection. And because of that, the psychology between men and women are so different when it goes into dating, into the workforce, into relationships, into familial stuff. Because from birth, as you're growing up, you're telling young girls they have to wait for this person to like them. They can't shoot their shot. They can't do this because that's what society says. Who is society? And who does that benefit? Who does that benefit? No one. It does not benefit the woman especially. So if you're listening to this, I dare you to start choosing for yourself. Choose. God is a freaking woman. Choose. Choose for yourself. Choose the life that you want. If you like that boy, go for it. If he says no, there are 50 million other boys. Genuinely, there's actually 500 million plus other men who probably will go for you. If not in this country, in another country. Choice. There's so many fishes in the sea. We know that, right? Why is making real female friendships so hard as an adult? I don't know how to answer this question, but I also do, because I think my thing with female friendships, I think I've already done an episode on this, is I have really solid female friendships. I mean, the love I have for myself is generally because of my female friendships, but I've also had really terrible experiences with female friendships as well. Now, here's the thing. I think it's a disservice to women to constantly talk about how women aren't good friends to each other, when people who say that probably have good friends and just probably also did not have good friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, most of the time when people talk about terrible female friendships, they're talking about some friendships that did not work out in the past, while also having really good friendships happening and occurring right now. But this rhetoric of terrible female friendships constantly happens because women are constantly pit against each other. Yes, women can be mean. Men can be mean. Dogs can be mean. Life is mean. So many things can be mean. Doesn't mean that, oh, the entire female species are mean. Also, by the way, I hate the word female. I hate when, is that a pet peeve of you guys? When someone's talking to me, they're like, oh, that female over there. Who the fuck are you talking to? You homo sapien. Who are you talking to? Anyways. So, no, I don't think it's hard. I think we tend to follow a lot of what society says around female friendships because they are solid, good female friendships. And I also hate the fact that for a lot of women, especially those whose lives have been shaped by this idea of having to be chosen by men and who sometimes have their world revolving around men, in colloquial terms, would call it the pick-me's. They tend to talk about this idea of terrible female friends. And honestly, it's usually the friends who are telling them the truth about themselves or who are honest with them, and they don't like that. And I think that's unfortunate. How do I set boundaries without feeling mean? Sometimes boundaries are mean, and that's okay. Sometimes boundaries are necessary, and that's okay. Sometimes boundaries are selfish, and that's okay. It is okay. It is okay to be mean. It is okay to set terrible boundaries. It's okay to set boundaries. It is okay. And if the person leaves when you set a boundary, they're not meant to be there in the first place. End of story. I'm never going to say too much about this because you guys know how I feel about boundaries. Boundaries can be mean, and that's the end of that. How do I honor my culture without letting it trap me? I think it's an important question because as someone who comes from a culture that has very oftentimes defined terms for what womanhood is, I like to say that I oftentimes like to take from my culture the things that I genuinely enjoy and take away the rest of the things that I don't enjoy. That's just a personal preference of mine. So, for example, I'm a Yoruba girl, and in Yoruba weddings, the family gives away the woman to her husband's family. In that sense, I enjoy that part of the culture. I don't know why, and honestly, I don't like the idea of me being like gifts given to someone else. However, I think it's a fun aspect of the culture with the deeper meaning that it brings that I would want to participate in. And honestly, if I do get married, the person who I'm marrying would understand that this is all just for the culture, but you better have sense and know that like I don't really think that I'm your property that has been given away, if that makes sense. So I think I just pick and choose because I think culture is ever changing too. Like people tend to pretend that culture is static when it's really dynamic. It's the people that make up the culture, so things change over time, and honestly it is not a bad thing. People tend to make it feel like culture changing is a bad thing when it really isn't, because the world is evolving. Culture has to evolve with it, and if it doesn't, that's disappointing because you're going to be living in the past when the entire world is flying by. So there is so much more I would want to answer, but I think we will talk about this for like 2 hours if I'm not careful. So let's answer some Reddit because we love Reddit. Okay, so this is from 2X Chromosomes. How can I feel more secure in my relationship? Hi there. Just curious from women who are in successful, healthy relationships, what advice you might offer someone who has a tendency to feel insecure in relationships. I've been dating an amazing guy for 2 years, and yet I still can't help but feel jealous or insecure if I see him talking to a beautiful girl who's closer to what he's professed he has an immediate attraction to. I'm the opposite of his usual type. I hate that I feel so insecure. I know I have a lot going on for me, but sometimes that stupid voice in my head and pit in my stomach makes me feel like I don't deserve him and that one day he's going to want someone else. By the way, he has done nothing to inspire this insecurity. He's always told me how beautiful he finds me and how much I turn him on and all that. He has also always conducted himself in a respectful, trustworthy manner and has never done anything to make me feel he couldn't be trusted. It's very much a me and my brain problem. How can I learn to become more confident and secure in my relationship with a great guy who has done nothing to undermine how he feels about me? So many women feel like this, and I honestly think it's because of the lack of self-work that we don't do. To be in a relationship with me is to understand that I am the prize. Point blank, period. You could be your prize too, don't get me wrong, but I know what I bring to the table. I have worked really hard to become somebody who is valued, who is intentional, who is happy in myself and self-worth. And I've worked hard to be the person I want to be. And I'm constantly learning and evolving and growing. A lot of women, especially in relationships, and this is the issue with like being raised to be chosen and not choose. When you're raised to be chosen, you're raised with different parameters of what this idea of the ideal choice is. So for this young lady, maybe she's been told that if she's the prettiest kind of girl, then she's going to find the perfect guy. But then the perfect guy comes, but there's another pretty girl there. So then what? You're going to feel like, oh, I'm not the prettiest girl, so that means he can't love me. Do you understand how you're constantly going to be in competition with a version of something that does not exist? That is why I always tell people to invest in themselves and truly understand what self-love is. She's clearly talking about how insecure she is because of choices she's making, right? He's done nothing because he's living his life. Kumbaya, he's living his best life. But there's a lot of self-work that has to come from breaking that cycle that we've heard that you have to compete with other women, that you have to be the prettiest woman in the room. Not everybody can be the prettiest woman in the room. Not everybody can be the smartest woman in the room. Not everybody can be the hottest woman in the room. We all can't be any of that. You could find somebody who is like the dumbest person in the room. No offense to that person. And for that person, they're still the most confident. So you will never think of them as dumb because they're so confident that they just move so amazing. Like you can never tell that, oh, this person actually doesn't know what they're saying. Those people, be like them. It doesn't really matter. Just be like them. So I hope that helps for that advice. If you're someone like that who's in that similar situation, I promise you can work on yourself. I was in a relationship once where I felt like I wanted more attention from them. And what I ended up realizing was I actually didn't really want attention from them. I just really needed to fill up my own time. They were so busy living their lives, I was forgetting how to live mine because I was living my life for them. And you never want to be in that kind of situation in relationships because that's so disappointing. That's also not fueling or facilitating anything in your life. You know what I mean? Okay, I could really use some sage wisdom on decentering my value as a woman from beauty and societal standards. Please be kind. I'm turning 29 this year. Me too. I genuinely want to love myself and appreciate who I am as a person rather than constantly focusing on what I do or don't like. I've been in therapy for just over a year. I have an amazing support system. I'm slowly getting back into my hobbies and passions after a medically difficult 2025. Hey, me too. Is this me? Intellectually, I know confidence and self-worth aren't supposed to come from appearance, but I'm still undoing years of subliminal and explicit messages from society, my upbringing, and people around me. I've been trying to stay off social media and actively work on not tying my value to how I look, but it feels harder every day with constant bombardment of messaging from everywhere. I'm not conventionally beautiful, and the way people talk about beauty around me makes me feel like I'm a monster. Family, friends, and my partner will use words like nice and cute, but nothing really beyond that. I'm exploring the meaning of those words and why they're important to me in therapy too. What's frustrating is that I find so many men, women, and non-binary folks beautiful for their unique traits. I value individuality so much, especially as Instagram phase becomes more widespread. I just can't see the beauty in my own unique traits or truly appreciate the life experiences I've had at the non-tangible traits I embody. Being kind, trusted, confident for many, being loving. I'd love any wisdom, personal experiences, book or essays or resources that helps you decenter beauty from self-worth and build a more grounded sense of value. This is the perfect question or Reddit reaction or Reddit question, I guess, around exactly what I've been talking about all episode. So if you heard that, do you have your answer? If you're someone who you have your answer based on what I've said, right? You already know what I'm about to say. Okay. If you've been listening, then you know, yeah, you probably do. In situations like this, I really genuinely think it's a matter of unlearning so much. And that is constant work that would continue to have to happen. You can't simply wake up one day and say, I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. Everybody needs to realize that. You genuinely need to get to a point where you realize you are going to kill yourself if you constantly compare yourself to other people, because you can't change. We can't, like, do we see folks who get plastic surgery who never stop at one? They get Botox, they get BBL, liposuction, they get the breast augmentation, they do this and they do that, and they get micro shading, and they constantly keep changing until they become unrecognizable, because there is no goalpost. There is no way to win. There's no way society is going to let you win, because you've already lost the moment you're changing. And I'm not saying this about plastic surgery and don't get it. I don't, that's your problem. That's, again, choice. What I mean by that is, at the core, if you are unhappy with yourself, nothing anyone can say or do would make you happy, except for you. You are literally the only person in this world who can decide today to be happy. I literally decided on Saturday, it's Monday, that I'm going to be happy for the rest of my life. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to choose to be happy for the rest of my life, because I can't be sad. I can't be sad. I can't be sad anymore. I can't keep thinking everyone else is doing better than me, because what then? What happens then? What happens? Okay, they're doing better than me. Okay, what then? What else? What else happens? How do you move past that? How do you move forward? If you don't have that mindset, you're going to constantly give yourself in that cycle where you're constantly suffering, constantly comparing yourself, constantly struggling, and you don't deserve that. No one does. You need to live in a world where you genuinely realize, oh shoot, I am the only one who's going to cheer for myself. And to this woman who's talking right now, Gloomy Implement 9370, I started reading The Mountain Is You, but I've also started doing a lot of journaling and reflecting on stuff like, okay, if I don't feel like I'm the prettiest person in the room, why do I feel that way? One, and how can I change that perception of myself? She's talking about how she's not conventionally beautiful, but who's convention? Is Kim Kardashian conventionally beautiful? Is Ruby Rose conventionally beautiful? I don't know why I would say Ruby Rose. I don't know why I would say that. Is Teyana Taylor conventionally beautiful? Is Taylor Swift conventionally beautiful? Is Selena Gomez conventionally beautiful? Is J-Lo conventionally beautiful? Am I conventionally beautiful? Who are you conventionally beautiful? If you constantly keep chasing after this idea of conventionally beautiful, you're going into a rat race. But if you tell yourself, oh, I'm the prettiest, most beautiful girl in the world, who's going to check you? someone's going to tell you no? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever said to somebody, oh, I think I'm the most beautiful girl in the world, and someone's like, no, you're not? Because if somebody if I ever told someone, oh, I think I'm the most beautiful girl in the world, and they tell me no, I'm not, you are a hater, you are the devil. Because even if that's not true, let me think that, let me feel that way, let me be happy. It's all about self-love and choice. And I think for this woman, it's really all about decentering again her value from what society says, and also doing things that makes her feel good. Like, I think she's so focused on Instagram and outside validation that she's forgetting that, like she said, finding her hobbies and passions. Sometimes when you pour into yourself so much, you really begin to quiet the outside noise. That's something I'm learning now too. Like, the moment I stopped realizing, I started doing this thing where I don't scroll too much on social media anymore. And when I scroll, every time I feel a hint of maybe jealousy or comparison, I immediately either turn it off or I ask myself why and how can I switch that thinking. And I swear it's done wonders for me. Feeling lost as a 20-year-old. I turned 25 days ago and realized I'm going through this huge slump where I'm not happy with how everything is going in life in general. I'm in college, but I feel so scared all the time. I'm wondering if my career path would ever work out, whether I'll meet some people, make more friends than I have. I've also been single for 20 years. I've literally never had a serious relationship. I just feel this sense of doom that nothing is working out for me. Nothing is ever going to work out. It almost feels like a huge crisis. I just want some advice from anyone older. Anything that they could offer as advice. Does it get better? I'm a girl, by the way. Of course you're a girl, baby. So, reading this reminds me of a really close mentee of mine. She's currently about to graduate from college. She just turned 21. And she came to visit me last summer, and she was just ranting about how sad she is and how depressed she is and how she's struggling and she feels like she's unhappy and she's so sad. And I just looked at her and I said, you have so much time. And it's hard to hear that as someone who's 20 years old, because I was 20 once. And if anyone told me then that what I was feeling was invalid, they didn't understand, because it felt so real. And it is real. This, especially in the age of social media where 14-year-olds are having millions of followers and are making millions of dollars, where you feel like you are far behind, but you've not even started yet. Like, you've literally not started yet. The idea that you've not had a boyfriend and you're 20 years old, just to be clear, it should be illegal for you to even have had a boyfriend between 1 and 18. So those 18 years, maybe let's say even 14, if you like start dating in high school, those 14 years, you're still not really in boyfriend era. So maybe it's just been 6 years or 2 years. And even that, there's no validation around being yourself and how a boyfriend comes into play, because it doesn't really matter. You have time. And the best thing I would say to this young girl and to any 20-year-olds watching is spend the time finding out who you are. So rather than looking outside all the time, take some time for you. And that might be the most uncomfortable thing to do, but I wish I did that sooner. I was so focused on going, and I'll see someone do something, I'll try to do it or emulate it, that I didn't really know who I was until later in life. And I wish I knew who I was pretty early on. So if you don't like journaling or writing stuff down, maybe spending time doing activities or experiences that are independent on other people, whether that's making new friends, doing new hobbies, doing stuff that make you feel like you're not behind and like you're so focused on pouring into yourself. Before you know it, everything you want will come to you. And for the youngins who are graduating this year, I swear to you, you have time. As a 28-year-old, please listen to me when I say you have the time. You have time. There is time. Because there are 38-year-old people who tell me that I have time. And I'm looking at them like, how do you know? Because they've lived through the time. So someone who's lived through that time for 8 years, you have the time. It might seem very overwhelming at this point, but I think it's overwhelming because you think you're supposed to be at a certain space in life, but you are the only one running. No one else is running. No, like generally, you're the only one running. You're running that race yourself. So at some point, you just got to figure out if you want to stop running and drink some water. You want to stop running, to stretch, if you want to keep running, you have that power. You can do that. And stop comparing your life to other people, because it makes no sense too. They're living their life. They're running their race, and they're not living the life you're living. So that's something that's also helped me too. I've learned that if I'm comparing myself to creator A, I always think to myself, does creator A come from a 2-family home or 1-family home? Does creator A have loving parents? Does creator A have ADHD or anxiety or depression? When I start breaking things down like that, I'm like, I don't know any of these things. All I know is my race and my life. And that means all I need to do is focus on me. Last one, because I saw this one as well. Never had a mother or sister to teach me. What girl advice should every daughter hear? Hi, everyone. I'm 19, female. Growing up, I never really had a mom who passed down beauty secrets, since she focused more on studies and didn't have much interest in that side of things. I also do have an older sister, so I never had anyone to give me girl advice. Most of what I know I've had to figure out on my own through research and trial and error, and I'm still slowly learning as I go. I really love to hear from others. What are the beauty tips, self-care routines, or general girl advice you would want to pass down to your daughters? What do you wish someone had told you earlier? Thank you in advance. I really appreciate any wisdom you're willing to share. Okay. Beauty tips. Shower oil. A really nice, like, smelling shower scrub. Scrubbing your body. Dry brushing is really fun. An exfoliating facial thing as well. I love getting my brows done. I wish I started that early on. I think it's something that makes me feel so girly, so cute. I love investing in like a pamper or a facial at some point. 19 might be too young, but a massage is something to take care of my body. My physical health has always been important to me. Let's see. Self-care routines. I always thought self-care routines were frivolous. As I grew older, I realized that moment it takes for you to go still, for you to relax, for you to breathe, it's really special. It's genuinely so special. And I wish more people did that. I wish more people took the time to pour into themselves, whether it's for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. Find a self-care routine that works, whether it's going to a bathhouse, getting a massage, journaling, drawing, hobbies, date nights, solo dates, whatever it takes to pour into yourself. Please start doing that. I love doing solo dates. I go to a steakhouse every month, and it's one of my favorite things I always look forward to, because it just gives me time to myself, and I really enjoy it. Let me know also other comments you guys would have. Put it in the description. Sorry. Let me know what you guys think also. What advice you would give to someone around this. Let me know in the comments. General girl advice is shoot your shot. I want more women to learn to shoot their shot. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you're going to argue. Shoot your damn shot once. If he rejects you, try again until you don't get rejected. That's what, as always, I will always tell girls that shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. Never let anybody belittle you. Never let anyone make you feel less than. You're not a second-class citizen. Always have your own choice. Always make sure you choose yourself every single time. Selflessness doesn't pay. Always learn to be selfish and choose yourself, and be unapologetically yourself no matter what. No matter what. Always, always, always be yourself. Again, like I said in the middle of this episode, you are strongest when you are truly doing you every single time. I think some of the most powerful people we all look up to are women who are generally themselves and they invest in themselves. So learn to invest in yourself too. So let me know some other girl advice or women's advice you guys have in the comments below. And that is the end of today's episode. I think I yapped a lot today, guys. To single moms, aunties, girls raising themselves, immigrants, dark skin, light skin, soft girls, loud girls, quiet girls, healing girls, angry girls, etc. Comment one thing you love about being a woman. Send this to a woman you admire. Send this to someone if you think they could learn something from this episode. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Even rate the podcast, guys. I never tell you guys. And again, I love being a woman. I will never apologize for it. I think God is a woman, always and forever. And this episode, I think, is so fun for me because I'm coming into my own. I can see it. I think when I first started the podcast, Am I Too Loud? I knew what I wanted it to be. And I won't lie, the first 3 episodes was me just bearing it all. And then after that, I started listening to other people's opinions, and then I went to a certain way, and then I started interviewing people. And now I'm in that space where I want to find my voice again. And I'm finding my voice through these episodes, and I hope you guys can see that. Because being a human, not even just a woman, is a constant learning experience. And you just keep going. No matter what, just keep going. Alrighty, my loves, I will close out this podcast episode. I'll see you next week. And by the way, would you guys hate if I started doing guest interviews, but I wasn't in person with the guests? Instead, I was like Zooming them. Let me know if you guys would hate that. I feel like I want to bring some guest on the show, but I just don't have the capacity to fly to where they are. So if I'm able to start doing Zoom interviews, but I just don't know if you guys are going to like it. So please let me know if you get to this part of the episode, whether or not you're going to like me doing guests or you care. I feel like if you're someone who listens to audio, you wouldn't care. But if you're someone who is watching video and for clips online, that might be an issue. So let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Pod fam, mwah, I love you. Bye guys, and don't forget, you done it like I want you, something my one. When all is said and done, you believe God is a woman.